Hi family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Kenisha and I'm here to use my stories, my testimony to help encourage you to also walk with God. So 21 days fast. Yes, I am going to talk about it. I just really have to put you guys into context because going all the way back to COVID time, like 3 years ago, I had gained 30 pounds in less than 2 months. Yeah, so clearly it was unhealthy weight. It was weight from not going outside, being confined, and I was studying and working full time at that point in my life. So I was sitting down all day and eating all day. And so I gained weight from just not doing anything and eating more, and also the stress of having to manage work and school at the same time. So I gained 30 pounds in less than 2 months. And if you've seen my other video, I guess spoiler alert, but if not, then I'm gonna take you on a journey. So now coming back to today's time, so in around July, August 2024, I saw this video on YouTube and it caught my eye, and for some reason the thumbnail kind of freaked me out. The title was like 3 to 5 a.m. Calling, around that title, right? And in my head I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to have any spiritual encounters like while I'm trying to sleep, so I'm not ready for that. And I kept skipping that video. And during that time that I was skipping the video, I was having these night cravings. So I would wake up in the middle of the night, which is something that never ever happened to me. Like I've been skinny all my life, okay? I'm the type of person that can eat a full 3-5 course meal and never gain weight. But I was also really active. I was in the gym or on the court almost every day because I was playing sports. And so I remember I would eat like McDonald's 30 minutes before a game, and I would have like the best game of my life. So like I was just one of those people that can eat anything and never gain weight, right? And so the fact that I gained that weight was like, oh wow, the first time I had, some weight. And I never really lost it back. I kept fluctuating more or less 10 pounds. But going back to in July and August, so I was having these night cravings, right? And I was trying to figure out how to kill it. And my first thought was like, okay, maybe I should drink tea. So I was drinking this lemongrass tea. And for the first week I tried it, but I was still waking up at night. I had put music to help, me sleep through the night. I was still waking up. The second week I tried protein bar. I was like, maybe I need something more consistent, but I noticed I was starting to gain weight. I'm like, this is not healthy. And then the third week, and meanwhile, this video keeps popping up. The 3 to 5 a.m. video keeps popping up, and I'm like, no, like I don't wanna. So yes, I was being stubborn. Clearly, when you watch a YouTube video, when you go on YouTube and you let's say you don't click on a video, the next day it's going to show up, right? But then after you refresh it after a few days, like the algorithm was like, okay, this girl doesn't want to watch this. But for 3 weeks, not every single day, but it kept coming back and coming back. And I wasn't Googling 3 to 5 a.m. That wasn't even something in my mind. So the fact that it kept coming up, I'm like, okay, I don't believe in coincidence, guys. So clearly this was for me and I was ignoring it. And the third week I decided to drink like a protein shake because I'm like, okay, like at least it's something liquid so my body can digest it better. Because it's not good to be eating late at night or in the middle of the night. But still, I was still waking up hungry. And this was during the time that I was eating 3 meals a day. So it's not like if I was not eating, I was eating. And I was on a meal plan, guys. So I was eating, and I've been eating like this. So why out of a sudden I'm waking up hungry? Finally, your girl decides to watch the video, and it talks about how the chosen ones and the anointed ones, sometimes God will call you and would wake you up between 3 to 5 a.m. to have a conversation with you when it's, you know, the most quiet of times during your day. And I understood the message, God. So he also explained us like why this happened and how to go about it and how to prepare for it. And then he mentioned to like, you can even quote this scripture that was like, your sheep hears your voice. I know them and they follow me. That's in the book of John. And so I would say that, and I'd be like, hey, God, like, here I am. When he would wake me up from 3 to 5 a.m., because I wasn't the one setting an alarm. Like, I would literally just wake up randomly between those times. And I'm like, I know it's God waking me up. And so I would be like, hey, God, here I am. I'm listening. I welcome you. And for many nights, he would wake me up and he wouldn't be talking to me. And I'm like, okay, I deserve that. I made you wait 3 weeks. Okay, I get it, God. Okay. So that at that point it was August. And finally God had spoken to me in the first week of September. And the timing was kind of like I said, I don't believe in coincidence, but oh yeah, my night cravings ended. So from the time that I watched that video, the same night, I didn't wake up. I didn't wake up hungry. I woke up at 3 to 5 a.m. but I wasn't hungry, and I was able to fall asleep after waiting for God to speak to me, even though I couldn't hear him. But I understood that, like, even whether or not God speaks to you or tells you something, he's waking you up. And so you wake up and you reach out to him and you wait and you sit still. And after a while, it's like, okay, I go back to sleep, and the next day the same thing. When God is ready, he's going to speak to me. But now he was just training me to hear him. That was the point. He was training me to take time to reach out to him, to seek him, to listen to him, to be intentional about it. So I was really in a process of training. And throughout that time, because there's a lot of things that happened, but I, came to the agreement to end my friendships in April 2024, but that was a process, right? And so I ended my last set of people that I wanted to cut off of my life the first week of September. And a few days after that, during that 3 to 5 a.m. time, God revealed to me my calling in life, which was to build a ministry. So he spoke to me, and this is relevant to my 21 days fast. You're gonna understand why, but I had to put you guys in context. So back to the fast. I started a fast then in ending September. So I was convicted to do a fast, and the goal of my fast was to cast out demons, to remove any evil spirit that's been attacking me in my sleep. And so that was the main goal of my fast. Plus, I also wanted to hear God better. So I decided to do a 3-day fast, as a matter of fact. Because for me, this was like urgent. This was like highly important. And this was serious. I'm not asking for a car. I'm not asking for, and every goal is important. I'm just saying, like, being attacked by demons it's no joke, okay? And I was being attacked in my dreams, where I kept having these nightmares. But this is for another video. The attacks that I was having, the spiritual attacks I was having in my dreams, this is for another video. But that was the goal of my fast. And I decided to do like a 3-day fast, no food, no water. Some people, when you do a 3-day fast, they do it with water. But because I was already in a meal plan and I was already doing intermittent fasting, like, for me, fasting wasn't something new, and cutting off or restricting myself from food wasn't something new as well. So I did a 3-day fast, no food, no water. Um, I, to be more precise, I went 80 hours without no food, no water. And then, so on the fourth day, I didn't felt comfortable eating yet as usual, as normally what I would normally eat. Something just telling me to continue to fast. So I continued the fast, but I went in a specific time. I ate fruits and vegetables during a specific time in the day. So I didn't continue just not eating because I recognized that was not healthy. So I was just eating fruits and vegetables and drinking water on day 4, on day 5. On day 6, I'm like, okay, God, I committed to 3 days. And during that fast, God did speak to me. But I was still being attacked spiritually. So it was still a work in progress, right? But during day 6, I was like, God, like I committed to my 3 days and I extended it, you know. So I went to get a whole chicken, not just like a piece of chicken. I went to get a whole chicken, and when I got home, I just didn't felt settled about eating the chicken. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait till tomorrow. So tomorrow is day 7, and I'm like, come on, like this is killing me now. Like I don't understand. I don't have any like direction right now because I committed 3 days and we're at day 7. If I had done a 7-day fast, I wouldn't be, you know, confused, but I was trying to understand like why God was like convicting me to continue. But then the enemy got in my head and I ended up eating 2 pieces of chicken. And after I ate it, I realized that now this is the enemy that tricked me. And I was like, okay, we're gonna do a 21-day fast. So I threw the whole piece of chicken, the whole chicken. It wasn't just a piece, it was a whole chicken. God was testing me with my money and my food. Because the amount of food that I bought and I didn't get to eat. So yeah, so day 7, I committed to a 21-day fast. I'm like, okay, now I know all I'm doing is I'm gonna eat fruits and vegetables from sunset to sunrise. But I was only eating once a day, and fruits and vegetable and water. And honestly, it's by the grace of God that I never starve a day. I just want to put that out there because I never went a day without eating. And as I mentioned in my other video, the video about walking with God transformation, the things that I change as I walk with God, I had mentioned that I'm the type of person that like felt like I needed protein in my life always, and I couldn't go a day without protein. So the fact that I was already at 6 days, and then I missed the mark on the 7th day, but still it was only 2 pieces of chicken in a whole week. And the fact that I've, you know, continued to fast with just fruits and vegetables is really by the grace of God that I didn't starve a day. And I noticed that I was obviously losing weight since I wasn't eating, you know, 3 meals as I would normally eat. But yeah, I did get a little bit hungry here and there, but like this fast for me was not difficult, not in my own strength, but because God was backing me up in this fast. This is what God wanted me to do, and I felt his guidance. I felt his guidance. So I continued the fast, and on day, I want to say day 10 of the fast, around that time, I felt this like heaviness that God really wanted to speak to me. And I'm like, okay. So that day I prayed all morning. I had my notebook, I had my pen, and I was like, okay, God, like whenever you're ready. I would sit still, you know. I was still in the beginning of like praying, so I wasn't the type of person that's an intercessor and that can pray for like 4 hours and have the Holy Spirit flow through me, words, like no. So I was doing the best of my capacity to pray and to read out scriptures. And he told me to pick up my pen and grab my notebook, and I was downloading everything God was telling me to do. But my communication with God wasn't as crystal clear, so I didn't completely understood his guidance. Obviously that was something that I was praying for, to hear God better, but there was cracks in my heart that I had to free up. And I explained why in my other video, which is called Spiritual Breakthrough Through Forgiveness. And my communication now with God is so much better, like has improved significantly. So I'm really grateful for the fast, and I'm really grateful for the trial and tribulations with the spiritual attacks that I've been having at night. But going back to the fast, so yeah, basically God told me to book a flight to Houston for tomorrow. Well, the next day. And I'm like, the closer you get to the date that you want to leave, the more expensive it is. Obviously, the flight wasn't cheap. And I asked God for confirmation. I told him, show me on YouTube to confirm. And he told me the name of the YouTuber, and that YouTuber was going to confirm the city. And I went on YouTube. I didn't have to refresh nothing. I went on YouTube. I looked for a YouTuber with that name. The name was Ashley. And when I finally found her, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay, let me see. I watched a video, and it was only like a 3 to 5 minute video. And she confirmed the city. Like, what is a coincidence that I go on YouTube, I find a name, and it confirms the city too. I was like, okay, God, thank you for confirming that. But there was other things that I didn't understood, so I missed the mark during my journey in Texas. But yeah, I did. I booked the flight, guys. I booked the flight. The next day, my bag was already ready. It was already half ready, because I'm gonna talk to you guys about my journey going to Houston, Texas. But my backpack was already half ready to go before him telling me to go to Houston, Texas, because I already knew that God was preparing me to go somewhere. So that means I continued my 21-day fast in Houston, and the last day of my fast was the last day there. So no, I didn't get to eat any of the food or try any of the restaurant. I stayed disciplined, and I only ate fruits and vegetables. I Uber Eats delivery fruits and vegetables, and that's what I ate all week. I know, guys. And I didn't even get to eat Chick-fil-A, and I haven't been in the States in about a decade, right? So that was definitely testing my, not just my faith, but my obedience and my discipline. And the fast was a success, guys. Just to let you know, God obviously came through. I never doubted that for a second. He helped me. Well, he took over, basically. He took over. The battle was his, and he told me before going to bed that night that he was going to battle my demons, the attacks that I've been getting from the evil spirits at night, and that I was gonna sleep well tonight, that I wasn't gonna have to fight them in my dreams and my nightmares and wake up and all of that. So I was like, okay, I trusted God. The enemy was trying to play with my head at the same time. God was trying to tell me, girl, it's okay, you can go to bed, I got you. And so that exactly what happened. And so God woke me up a few minutes before my alarm, and he told me that it was over. And then I went back to sleep, and I woke back up, and I was like, wow, I didn't have any nightmares, I didn't have any attacks. I finally had a good night's sleep. And he told me, good morning, Kenisha. And I felt like it was like a brand new me, brand new day, brand new season. But there was a round 2 of the spiritual attacks, and that's once again, another video. But the point is that God was testing my faith. God was trying to have me prove my faith through these spiritual attacks. And sometimes God will let you go through trials and tribulations and hard times so that you can lean onto Him and learn how to trust Him even more. You see that in the book of Job. You see that in the book of Revelations. Like, God would, but He would always, He would allow the enemy to do things within His limits, within His restriction, right? So God, at the end of the day, He has your back. He has no plans to harm you or forsake you. He has plans for you to prosper. And this was all a part of the journey. It was to help me grow closer to Him, to help me trust Him and have full faith and be like, God, what I needed to do, guys, was to weaken myself. I needed to weaken myself and humble myself before Him. Because it says in the scriptures that He leads the humble in what is right, and He teaches the humble His way, right? So I needed to weaken myself and not rely on my own strength, on my own understanding, on my own resources, on my own wisdom, and just let God take the wheel. Like, God, go ahead of me. And so when I understood that, that's when He came and He conquered the enemy. So yeah, so the last day, so then, I had maybe 2 more days left there when that happened. So yeah, I just continued on the fast still. And then on the last day, that's when I took a flight back to Montreal. And the next day, I still didn't feel comfortable eating back food. But then again, it's like I went to 3 weeks, and it's basically a full detox, right? 3 weeks with just fruits, vegetable, and water. So it's not good to just jump right in and eat everyday food. The next day, I just ate fruits and vegetable. And then the following day, I was like, okay, Kanisha, like, we're back home, we're back to life. We went from 3 days fasting to 21 days. And so I went to the shawarma place. It's a like Lebanese restaurant, and I got myself a beef pita. It was so good. But in the like halfway through the pita, I hear the enemy being happy that I'm eating in my flesh, like I'm eating like these type of food. And it kind of gave me like ooh, okay, like, was I not supposed to eat yet? Like, I'm confused. So after that, unfortunately, I was still in my flesh and not in my spirit. So I just finished the pita despite that. And the next day, I'm like, I'm just gonna eat fruit and vegetable again. The following day, I'm like, okay, Kanisha, you can't be scared to eat food. So I go to this pasta bar. I haven't been there in like maybe a year or 2, but the last time I was there, it was so good. But they changed the staff. So it's like, okay, whatever. The food, the cooking should still be similar. So I order, penne and rosé sauce and Italian sausage. And by the way, pasta is like one of my favorite food. So I was super excited to eat it, and I started eating it, and it was like, okay, this is not cooked. So I go back, and the chef start giving me attitude, and I'm like, I know what Dante pasta is. Like, this is not cooked. Anyways, he ended up taking it back, but he doesn't cook it. He let the other staff do it. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Then he tells me to come and get it myself. I'm like, whatever. I take it, I eat it, and it's still not cooked. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, clearly they're messing around with me. So I forced myself to eat it. Halfway through, I'm like, I can't do this. So I go back because it's like a food court. So it's a pasta bar. And I couldn't find the garbage. So I just went there to ask him, where's the garbage? And he lifts up his hand, and he's just, the energy in that person, I swear, like, there was this demonic spirit behind it. I'm like, you know what? This food, it was made with a lot of hate and anger, and I figured it out myself. I threw the whole plate in the garbage, and I left. And I'm like, okay, this is 2 out of 2 bad experience. The next day I go back to eating fruits and vegetables, and the following day I'm like, I was just in denial, guys. Clearly I was supposed to continue my fasting journey, and I'm gonna tell you why. And this is just specific to my journey. Usually I heard other people testimonies about fasting, and it's like 3-day fast, 2-day fast, 7-day fast, 7-day fast. It doesn't necessarily extend, but I will explain you why my journey was like a lifestyle, basically. So finally I go to a Caribbean restaurant, and I've been to that place. This is my go-to place when I order jerk chicken. So I went there to get jerk chicken, and when I got there, so it's like a family restaurant. So the father's usually the one that takes my order, and then the mom is the one that prepares the food. But today the son was there. And when the son came out of the kitchen, I heard, and the enemy enters his body. I'm like, no way. You know, in the Bible, it was like in the book of John, for example, when the enemy entered the body of which is Judas, the one that betrayed Jesus. Yeah, so I heard that in my head. I'm like, are you serious right now? I was in denial, guys. Like I said, I was still not at a point where I was able to accept giving up my food, because I'm very particular when it comes to food. I have my favorite food, I have my favorite restaurants. I already know what I want, what I like, and I wasn't ready to give that up. That I didn't know that coming into the fast I was gonna completely have to change my eating habit, because first of all, I was already eating well. But besides the point, I stayed there, and I had the time to process everything that was going on, because the dad was on the phone with a customer. So I had the time to take it in. But I was like, I blocked everything off. I ordered my food. I brought it home. I ate half of it because I still had a small appetite. The next day, guys, wasn't fun. The next day, if you guys are eating right now, you can skip the next 10 seconds. I puked. I was in the bathroom all day. And then I was like, you know what? Clearly, I'm supposed to continue my fast. And I just kind of made it now like a lifestyle. So 21-day fast was successful. So family, this is why I had to fill you in before sharing you my journey of my fast, because I wanted to make that correlation between the fact that, first of all, that 30 pounds that I gained in less than 2 months during COVID was unhealthy weight, was weight from stress, weight from sitting down and eating all day and not moving, being confined. And that same amount of weight that I've gained in that short period of time is the same amount of weight that I lost during that short period of time. And I feel so light, and it feels so good. God is just so good. And I don't think that's a coincidence. You know, that weight was gained and it was lost. This is God's grace. And then again, on the other hand, when I was eating 3 times a day, and I was having those night cravings where I would wake up hungry and I couldn't go back to sleep before eating. And I had to try and figure out, like, okay, is my lemon grass tea gonna work? Is it the protein bar, the protein shake? And nothing I was doing was working. But by the grace of God, who wanted me to wake up at 3 to 5 a.m., my cravings stopped. And at the same time, by the grace of God, I was only eating once a day, and I was eating fruits and vegetables. I was barely eating, basically, and drinking water. And I did that throughout a period of a few weeks. And I never starve a day. Never did I starve throughout my fast. Was I hungry from time to time? Yes, but I never was craving or was at a point where I'm like, I was so hungry that I couldn't take it anymore. Like, never. That just never happened. That was never a scenario throughout my fasting. My fasting, I'm not going to say it was a breeze, but I was able to do that by the strength of God that was backing me up, because this is what God wanted me to do. This is how God is good. And then my fast and praying was, such a success. It was a journey, but it was successful. And God came through, because through that fast, God wanted to teach me something. It wasn't just about Him interfering and battling the spiritual attacks of evil that was coming against me. The enemy doesn't want me to get closer to God. He doesn't want me to clear up the line of communication to Him. And God was teaching me that through these spiritual attacks in my dreams at night, to rely on His strength. In my weakness, He is my strength. And I learned to humble myself, to weaken myself, and to stop fighting in my own power, to stop fighting in my own knowledge or wisdom. All I was doing is that I was just cutting off the branches of the tree. And when I finally understood, or was beginning to understand that I need to give this to God, this battle belongs to God. God is going to come. He doesn't guarantee us a life without trials and tribulation. He promised us to get us through the trials and tribulation. And He was testing my faith. He wasn't trying to break my faith. He was testing my faith. He knew that at the end of this journey, that my faith was going to grow stronger. My trust in Him was going to grow stronger. He was testing me to prove my faith to Him. You want to hear me closer? You want to get closer to me? You want to be my disciple? You want to represent me? Then I need to make sure that you are faithful, that you are not going to fold when the enemy is going to attack you. The spirit of fear is attacking me. The spirit of lust was attacking me. So God came through, and He came through, and He came through to the root of that tree, and He took that tree down. Okay. So that fast was so successful, and it just helped me grow 2 to 3 times closer to God. So I am just so like, I am so honored that through, my experience and my journey and my testimonies, I'm able to share how God has came through in my life in so many different ways that I have to break it down into different sections. It couldn't have been explained in just 30 minutes. So I'm just so grateful for God, and He had done so much work in me. There's so many lessons learned. That was the ultimate lesson, but there were so many lessons learned throughout that period of fasting. And it's because of the magnitude of my request that it had to be done that way. And I am grateful for it. While going through that, it wasn't fun, obviously. But that helped me also build my confidence in my faith and trust in Him. So I hope that, and I pray that, through God's work in my life, that He was able to inspire you to put your trust and faith in Him, no matter what you do, no matter what you're going through. God will come through.